He does. He does. He does. He does. He does. He does. Well, would you do it? 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 Would you do it? He does. Well, would you do it? He does. Well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, well, I mean, well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. He does. Well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. He does. Well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. He does. Well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I think he's a cat. Well, I think he's a cat. Flan? Well, I think he is a cat. Flan? Well, I think he's a cat. Well, I think he's a cat. Well, I think he's a cat. Well, I think he's a I think he's a I think he's a cat. I think he's a cat. Well, 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 I think it's catch. I think it's a catch. Well, I think it's a catch. Well, I think it's a catch. Flan? He does? Oh, well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about it yet. Well, I think it's a catch. Flan? That's him. Hi, hi, Ignacio. Here there. Hi, Betty. Hi, Ignacio. Here there. Hi, Betty. Hi, Ignacio. Here there. Hi, Betty. Hi, Ignacio. Hi there. Hi, Betty. Hey, here. It's a return. There's a verb, but it sounds just. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. It's a return. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. Return. It's a return. The mute sound. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. It's a return. It's a return, but it's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. It's a return, but it's a return. The mute doesn't work. It sounds awesome. It's a return. The mute doesn't work. It sounds awesome. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. He does. Well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about it yet. Well, I think he's a cat. Flan? That's him. Hi, hi, Ignacio. Hey, hi, Betty. Hey, here. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. Thank you. Can we talk? 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 Betty, can we talk? Can we talk? Betty, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? Betty, can we talk? Betty, can we talk? Betty, can we talk? Yes. Betty, can we talk? Betty, can we talk? Yes. Sure. Sure. Outside, okay. Outside. Outside, yeah, okay. I'm outside, yeah, okay. Outside, yeah, okay. Outside. Outside, yeah, okay. Outside, yeah, okay. Outside, yeah, okay. Outside, yeah, okay. Thank you. Very quick talk. Yes, sure. Oh, on the side. Yeah, okay. Celebrate started funeral. Celebrate started. Celebrate started. Celebrate started funeral service were held today. Celebrate started funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started funeral. Celebrate 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 started funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started funeral. Celebrate started funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started funeral service. Celebrate started funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started funeral service were held for Celebrate started funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrate started celebrate celebrate celebrity 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 studies for celebrity studies celebrity studies funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studies funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studies celebrity studied for celebrity studied film celebrity studied celebrity celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service were held for Celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral services were held for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral services were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied celebrity celebrity studied funeral Celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. Thank you. Very, can we talk? Yes, sure. Aside, yeah, okay. Celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers. The much loved and hated editor-in-chief, chief, the much loved, the much loved and hated, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief, 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 and much loved and hated editor-in-chief, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief. Thank you. Very quick talk. Yes, sure. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Celebrity studied funeral service were held today for Faith Summers, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief, fashion Bible a fashion Bible, a fashion Bible, a fashion Bible, a fashion Bible, a fashion Bible mode magazines, a fashion Bible mode magazine, a fashion Bible mode magazine, a fashion Bible mode magazine, a fashion Bible mode magazine. The much loved and hated editor-in-chief, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief of fashion, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief of Fashion Bible Mode magazine. The much loved and hated editor-in-chief of the much loved and hated editor-in-chief of Fashion Bible Mode magazine. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap on the world. It was the beach slap heard around the. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. It was the beach slap heard around the world. The much loved and hated editor-in-chief of Fashion Bible Mode magazine. It was the beach slap heard around the world. When longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative director when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative director, when longtime mode creative when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, when longtime mode it was the beach slap heard. It was the beach slap heard around the world. When longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, it was the beach slap. It was the beach slap heard. It was the beach slap heard. It was the beach slap heard around the world when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater, celebrity started funeral service were held today. Celebrity started funeral service were held today for Faye Summers, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief of Fashion Bible Mode magazine. It was the beach slap heard around the world when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater he does. Well, would you do it? Well, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet. Well, I think he's a catch. Flan? That's him. Hi, Ignacio, Hilda. Hi, Betty. Hey. Here. It's a return. The mute doesn't work, but it sounds awesome. Thank you. Betty, can you talk? Can we talk? Yes, sure. Outside. Yeah, okay. Celebrity studied funeral service was held today for Faye Summers, the much loved and hated editor-in-chief of Fashion Bible Mode magazine. It was the biggest slap heard around the world when longtime mode creative director Wilhelmina Slater